Hi, thank you for watching a new video blog. You hear a lot about people telling they're oppressed. Women, other races, as white people or European people, people with other sexuality, poor people, etc. And they all claim that they're super oppressed. But the real people that are being oppressed is people that want to live close to nature, because there is in no way that you can live closer to nature in an easy way, and there is absolutely no expectation that it will be becoming more easy to live close to nature in the future. By the way, I'm eating oysters, so you just open it and have my lunch here. So yeah, oppressed people, it's a Marxistic term. It's invented by humans. It's a civilized term because once civilization arrived, we had this thing called inequality, which basically means the slaves and the masters. That's just it. It comes down to this. And the inequality, sort of speak, is just an unnatural thing, because in nature there is no inequality, there's just harmony. And there's no such thing as inequality. Karl Marx invented this term. He was like a magician. If you are in civilization, there's ways where you can turn the reality upside down, where you can fool people into thinking things, because civilization is fake. It's not real, it's artificial, it's not natural. In a natural state you can delude people. You can show them illusions, things that are not real, ideas that are fake, that are not real. Basically you're just you're just like a magician that invents things to make people believe you. And of course it sounds palatable when you hear something like inequality, suppression, oppression. These are all just Marxistic terms invented by Marx. Later first they applied to the working area of life. Really, you see that civilization is slavery versus the slave masters, because the first time this term arrived was, of course, the laborers, the arbeiders, so to speak, and their masters, the people with the capitalists. And the first time it arrived, and you can clearly see that it originated from a slave system thing, that you see that civilization is slavery. And the first time it was invented, the oppressors, the capitalists versus the arbeiders, the workers, it has really still to do with this term. And then later, of course, people thought, hey, he's smart. This guy, this Karl Marx, is a smart guy. He invented this theory, and maybe let's see if we can use it to ourselves, because we're being oppressed as well. And so then you have like the women liberation movements, or the feminist movements, and then later it started to appear to, for example, black people in the United States. And in a certain degree, of course they were right in a way, but it doesn't have really to do with oppression and with being oppressed, or if you're man or woman, or if you're black or white, or if you're a worker or not. It has to do with civilization, because everything in civilization is oppression, because they oppress nature. That's it. And there you get these strange out of balance situations from. It's not because certain group is more oppressed than the other. No, nature's being oppressed, so we were all being oppressed. That's where I think, yeah, the people that are wanting to go back to nature, they are the most oppressed. They are the people that are not able to live the way they want. Because, for example, if you were, you have now the women rights, you have people rights for minorities, you have rights for people with different sexual orientation, but you don't have rights for people that want to live close to nature, that say, hey, I want to move away from civilization, I want to go back to nature, I want to live there. It's really hard to do. They make it really hard. They made it also really hard because, of course, they don't want you to leave the system. They want you to be in the system, and they give you some fake idea that you are now being treated well. Before it was all bad, now is the time that you are being treated well. Before you were an oppressed worker, now you are free. You're a free worker. Before you were enslaved, really enslaved, for example, in the United States or other places. Now you're free. It really is not the case, because the worst kind of oppression is people that want to live close to nature. First of all, you have to register somewhere to be able to even exist. If you don't have, for example, go to your council, city council, and you will say, hey, this is my baby, you have to register the baby. If you don't do it, they will take your baby away. If you say, hey, you know what, I want to go in this forest and live there, of course you cannot do it, because now nature is not for the people anymore. It's possessed by, for example, cities or states or countries. You cannot do it anymore. There is no way to do it. You cannot say, for example, I like it here. Say, oh, okay, let's put my tent up, let's start living here, let's fish. There's no way that you can do it. So if you want to do it, if you have this desire, and it's not even it's a very normal desire, because people say, oh, I'm oppressed, but they have like weird, ridiculous desires, and mostly I'm talking about harming other people, if you know what I mean. Then of course it's not worth to pay any attention to. But if you just want to live peacefully in nature with your family, if you don't want to have anything to do with the system, you cannot do it, because countries order you to register yourself. If you do this, they will take you away. They will take your kids away. They will put you somewhere they think you're mentally ill. People that want to live close to nature are the worst oppressed. Nobody cares about it. People will just laugh at you when you say, I want to live naturally. It's just like, oh yeah, sure, why do you have a phone, blah 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 blah. But you know, we are forced to have phones, to have addresses, to have work, to have money, to even be able legally to exist in the world, because now it's almost everywhere. It's like this. There's maybe a few places where you can live like that, but it's just like a few places. It's not an option, because you want to live in the place where you come from. I come from Europe, I want to stay in Europe. I don't want to live in the mountains of Mongolia. No, I belong here, this is my place. My energy comes here, my ancestors came from here. So I should be able to live in this place without even explaining myself why I want to live in nature. If I want this, I should do this. And of course, this makes more clear the slave system that we are in. Not the workers, not all the other things that people say they're oppressed. No, it is this. If you want to live natural, cannot do it. There's absolutely no way they will let you, because you need to register for an address, you need to have a home place, you need to pay with money, you cannot say, okay, I take my children out of the system. It's very hard to, for example, even homeschool your children. If you want to, for example, have cows and chicken and other, for example, cows, they will test you, they will test the animals, they will keep control over you. You're not free to do this. You're not free to say, hey, you know what, I want to live by myself, I want to live in a piece of land, maintain it, have animals there, live from animals, and then I'm fine. No, of course not, they don't want it. And also, many people, civilized people, they will be fighting against it, like, hey, you're a cheater, you should be in the system, I am working hard, I'm paying my taxes, and you are just avoiding taxes, you should be paying taxes, you cannot do this, you're just lazy and stupid and backwards, and we cannot have this. the slaves will revolt against you if you even come up with this idea. They think you're crazy, they will tell everybody you're crazy, you shouldn't talk with somebody else, you're just a barbarian, a sick person. So, and worse is that the government is of course fighting against this. They do everything to prohibit people to live naturally and live in nature, live close to nature. So if you ever talk about oppression, think about this. If there's one people that is being oppressed, it's the natural people. So that was for today. I'll continue eating my oysters and I say thank you for watching and see you next time.